Welcome to the Rudeboy sound, the Spurs sound off. I'm your host, the Rudeboy DJ Paul, and today I'm going to post this for Tuesday, so that will make it okay. Got enough time to really look back at the game, see some of the things that, definitely went awry. But for me, it's more a recap of things that I've spoken about, things I would have loved to have seen. But true to form, it really didn't. And so it's hard for me right now to get up and get excited about the club itself. Not the club, let me not say that. Just the anticipation of the games. I think when you look at the manager, what the manager has promised, I never know that really and truly just being one dimensional, being stubborn to a cause would have really been the hallmark of how I really see Ange. And when I look back at the games that we have won, games we have lost, even going back to last year, let me say this before I go any further. I don't mind being entertained. I don't mind the excitement of the kind of football we are playing, but because it's good. It's good attacking football, wide open, lots of excitement. But at some point, we have to give that to the neutrals. The neutrals want to see that. They want to see goals. They want to see the excitement. They want to know that Spurs are going to give as much as they will get, and a little bit more getting than giving, which is there's always a chance, even when we're scoring, that we're going to give up a few goals. And to one point, the I was watching the Liverpool City game, and I was waiting for City to get angry. I was waiting for City to turn that notch up one bit, just turn the screws a little. And you know when the big games come around, what City is like. Not equating Spurs to City, but there's that thing about it. When you watch a certain football player, they have that it thing in them. Watch a basketball player, baseball player, cricketers. For those who are British, they have that it factor. And so when you really, like I said, look at City, you're waiting for City to just turn that screw and put the capes on, and just become that superhuman of a team. And that has you're watching the game and you're asking when. And so it leads me now to just examining Ange. And I can see the football. I love the football, the way the football is supposed to be, where you attack the opponent and you make the opponent react to you. And if the opponent doesn't react to you, then it's lights out. But in saying that, in the same breath, is when the opponent do react to you and said, I'm not going to let you have your way. I'm not going to play into how you want me to play. I'm going to do this. And this is defending first and worry about all the other things like counter-attacking after. I'm going to allow you the ball. I'm going to allow you the space. But once you get into my third, top of my third, I'm going to start closing you down. That means I'm going to play me a bank of 5-4 or 4-5 and leave one man at the top. And if you look at all the games that we have lost and the two ties, exactly what happens. And so when you hear your manager tells you that tactics and pragmatism is not what he's all about, it's all about what he believes is the best remedy and the best way and the best he can do to nail in or nail down what he wants and the culture that he wants to build. And when you look at Spurs, Spurs are supposed to be a dominant front foot, take no quarters football team. All good and well. All good and well when it's working. And so when you play with that kind of laissez faire, don't care what happened, just go for it. And then you run into the roadblock of teams sitting in, teams daring you to break their stance, dare you to play through 9 men. And for that, we have lost all the games that teams have dared us to do that. And so you're asking the question, shouldn't there be something that we're working on, seeing that it happened once, it happened twice, and still happening? And you're looking to your manager and you said, my plan A is my plan B, and my plan B takes me right back to A. And so last week I did a video and I said, I'm resigned to believing that, you know, the direction to which Andrew wants to go is not going to change. And you have to believe that. And I believe that. And I said I was going to give that to him. But it's hard to take. I think I have surrendered to the fact that he doesn't see anything wrong with teams allowing us the ball, allowing us to come to them and then counterattack us. He sees nothing wrong in that there's no win, that a second goal can't suffice. And so if we score, we have no intentions in making it stick. We're all about scoring one and then two, then three. And the days when that doesn't happen, we ended up with losing and draws, like against Fulham. And so I've used the term before, I've used the term that this manager is tactically bankrupt. I'm not going to say he doesn't know what he's doing. I just think he's one dimensional, and when something is happening, and I don't see where we're working on our weakness, our strength is in offense, and to be honest with you, it cannot improve anymore. You can only stabilize that and make that be your go-to calling card. But if you don't have a defense behind it to make sure that your offense stays stabilized, then you're going to end up where when you're giving up goals, you're giving up points that you really need. On 3 occasions, we have a chance to really, really make an impact on the table. And each time that we have that chance, we had a chance to make an impact on the table, we lose. We have the chance to make an impact on the table this weekend, and we tie, we draw. So I think it is time, that the manager look at it and figure out. Maybe pragmatism is too much for his ego. Maybe plan B is too much to ask of him, the winner in him, because he has done it this way and he seemed to figure that there's no other way. So I can't find the word, but the thing I'm positive about is that playing this way to every team, no matter what they present, is that we are going to continue to remain inconsistent. We're going to win two, we're going to lose one, we're going to draw one, we're going to probably lose two, because teams had already figured it out. And make no mistake, right, about this. I don't know if the festive season will be a good judgment because of the short turnaround. And what I mean by that is you don't have time to stew on your losses or celebrate your wins. And so the pace, the frequency of everything might work in Angie's favor. And I'm hoping so because tactically we're bankrupt. Tactically, I don't see us improving from midfield going back. And so you can only wish on a star that even though I want to think that, and looking back at it in retrospect, I think teams will be more conservative because of the schedule or schedule for, my good European British people is whether or not we are going to teams, not us. We're going to play one way because only one way we know. It's whether or not teams are going to say, you know what, I'm not going to run around the park with you. I'm going to park it right here, pull the handbrake up, and you come and beat me. And I'm worried about that. I spend so much time, I've done so many videos about it since last week, and I haven't posted them because I keep going back to the same thing. And each time that I go through it and I said, what have you said that you have not said before? I can't find anything else to say but to just look at the manager and said, give me something. Show me something in the Fulham game to say that, you know what, we're having a hard time with this way how teams are confronting us. But here is what we're doing. And so it will give me hope for the next game. And I didn't see that. I did not see that at all. And that's troublesome. That's bothering to me as a fan because I expected my manager. What I try to not do is to talk about other managers with, in comparison to another manager. But even though we have, and I'm going to do this just for 30 seconds, even though we had Jose and we have Conte before, if you know where I'm going with it, there was no flexibility in their plan because they see themselves as winners. And this is the way they are going to, not that they see themselves as winners, they are winners. And their method has worked for ages. And so when they came to Spurs, they were adamant that there's no plan B. Plan A is what it is. And we're going to succeed or fail with plan A. And to really look at it that a couple of years later, we're facing the same thing with another manager, just playing a different style, just be a little bit more palatable to the fans. But it's awful. It is absolutely, absolutely awful in his thought process. You're not going to overrun teams in the Premier League. This is not second division where you have kids running around because their career and their impression depends on how they play and to impress you to go higher. This is not about potential. Kids with potential run around like they have no tomorrow. Grown folks and specialists and professionals don't run around like that. You have to give them a system. And therefore, when I hear people say, okay, he needs a better winger, he needs a better midfielder, he needs better defenders, I don't think so. Personally, I do not think so. Because based on what I'm seeing, tactically, I can't judge. Because if you take good players and put them in bad tactics, they're going to play down to the level to which you put them in. And if you keep putting players in situations where there's less a chance for them to succeed, this is what you're going to get. Can the players step up and be a bit more responsible? Yes, they certainly can. But if you're putting them in bad situation, if you're putting them up against a tactics from the opposing team that nullify their ability, you're not doing them any service. you're not doing them any good. You're putting them in a position where they're going to fail. And that is what I'm trying to say to some people who are talking about, oh, the players are not good enough. It's his players. He's the one who brought them in. And if you're trying to push that down their throat because you brought them in and it's not working, then you have to look to see if I'm getting everything from the players that I brought in and it's not working. What if I look at what I'm doing? For example, only example I'm going to use. When I used to look at Brennan Johnson and I was like, what's up with this kid? And then I go back and do some research on Brennan Johnson. And you know what I discovered, Brennan Johnson? He has no skill to be a wide winger. But you know what he can do? Finish. And if you just play him in inside, which I've been preaching. I know some people said, I just doesn't matter how many goals he score. I don't like him as a footballer because he doesn't have any skill. He can't take his man on. That's okay if you don't want to acknowledge that he can stick the ball in the back of the net if you put him on the inside. And that's the manager's job to recognize that I don't have a wide forward, I don't have a winger in Brennan Johnson. So how about I cut the route off for him and play him closer to the center to the striker? How about I let him play on the inside and let my fullback, which I want to be inverted and come forward, not inverted and come forward, but go on the outside to make up for what Brennan Johnson cannot give you, which is going down there because Brennan Johnson is going to make it easier because he's going to trap the fullback. He's going to engage one of the center backs, and that's going to free up not only your fullback, it's going to free up your number eight because your number eight is going to have all that space in front of him because now the center half can't step up to work, to pick up the winger, to pick up the midfielder. Or what's going to happen is that the midfield is going to come back, and therefore, what is going to happen is that they are going to now have to be engaged, and it frees up everybody else, because they have to now pay attention to Brennan Johnson rather than clamping down on the striker. And that's just one side of the ball. That's just one side of the pitch. So we have to be able to do something different with the player and also with the scheme that we are running when teams decide that they are going to play behind the ball. And I don't see that coming from Ange. I don't see tactical moving. The substitutions most of the times are just woeful. I wouldn't even want to talk about what happened with Fulham. And because this has been going on a long time. But what happened is that when you win a few games, it sort of masks all the bad things. And so when you lose and you drop points and you really start digging in and review what's going on, he's a terrible guy. His system, for some reason, really, really good. But all the other things that is supposed to, a manager is supposed to bring to the sideline, that kind of leadership, it's lacking, woefully lacking. But I promise I'm not going to go beyond 20 minutes on any video. That's a lot, for anyone to sit through. So that's just my take on not necessarily the game itself, but just the function of the team and what the manager is doing. Am I coming at the manager? Of course. So whoever watches this and want to tell me that I don't know Ange and wait and it's a player, no. It's time we start pointing the finger exactly where it should be pointed. He's the one who decided that he's not going to change his tactics for when a team shows you a different formation and shows you what their intentions are. The first thing that's supposed to go off in your head, if a team lines up 5-4-1, it means they're going to defend and they're going to counterattack. There's no other way to interpret it. You can't interpret that no other way, that they're going to defend and counterattack you. I don't care what team it is. That's it. So you have to adjust to that. You can't come out and play the same way when a team shows you something different. And that's my gripe. I just can't say anymore. I keep repeating myself. Anyway, Oh boy. I'll see you guys around. See you against Bournemouth. Thanks you for listening. I'm the Road Boy DJ Paul. And come on, you Spurs.